my dear learners, to the Rapid Roundup session on social processes and behavioral issues. In this session, we will be trying to understand the realm of social processes and behavioral issues by exploring the fascinating dynamics of human behavior within social contexts. So, from understanding how individuals interact in groups to examining the complexities of social influence, we will be exploring the forces that shape our thoughts, feelings, and actions in social settings. Now, if you are new to this channel, I am Anu, your guide and facilitator for this course. I run a small but growing YouTube channel named Anu's Classroom, which is aimed at providing IGNOU students overcome limitations of distance learning by providing you guys with quality content that will not only help you pass your exams with good grades, but also help you understand the concepts well so that you will become better managers of tomorrow. As future business leaders, understanding how individuals interact, communicate, and influence one another is essential for effective management and leadership. So, throughout this course, we will be exploring topics such as group dynamics, organizational behavior, negotiations, conflict resolution, and even ethical decision making. So, get ready to enhance your leadership capabilities, sharpen your interpersonal skills, and develop a deeper understanding of human behavior in organizational contexts. To give you an overview of what we will be covering in this session, I would like to bring your attention to the contents of MMPC 11 as per our MBA syllabus. IGNOU has divided the course on MMPC 1, Social Processes and Behavioral Issues, into 4 blocks, and it has a total of 15 units. The first block has 3 units, which is meant to introduce the concept of organizational behavior to you. So here we will be discussing about the concept of organizational behavior, the approaches to organizational behavior, and evolution of organizational behavior. The second block talks about intrapersonal processes. Intrapersonal refers to activities or processes which occur within an individual's mind or self. So it involves self-reflection, self-awareness, and understanding one's own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. The last block, block number 4, it has 4 units which are dedicated to discussing personality, values and attitudes, learning and behavioral modification, perception and attribution, motivation, all very crucial when it comes to understanding the social processes and behavioral issues in an organization. So that was not the fourth block, the second block. The third block helps us understand the interpersonal and group processes which play an important part in the formation of social processes and behaviors. So interpersonal means interaction to or interactions and relationships between 2 or more people. It involves communication, collaboration, and the exchange of information, emotions, and ideas between individuals or groups. So here we will be looking at group dynamics and team building, conflict and negotiation strategies, and also the very important, most important I would say, job stress. Is there anybody over here who has a job and does not have job stress? Very, very, very difficult to find, right? Almost non-existent, extinct species with having job but no job stress, right? Anyways, the last block, the fourth block. Here we will try to understand the emerging trends in this particular field. So we will be talking about employee empowerment, organizational citizenship behavior, organizational inclusiveness, diversity management, and positive approaches to work behavior. So having a basic understanding of these current trends in the organizational sphere will definitely help us in managing our organizations better. Before we plunge into our discussions, I kindly request you to check if you have subscribed to the channel already, and also, most important than that, you have enabled notifications. Because by doing so, you will ensure or you can ensure that you never miss an update from this particular channel, and that way you can make the best use of all the efforts that I am putting into helping you earn your postgraduate degree from IGNOU. And you are definitely free to post your feedback, your suggestions, or any particular doubts that you might be having in the comment section. I shall try my best to resolve those queries, but just one request from you guys, just try to keep those comments professional. That is all. Just keep them professional like you would as a future manager after completing your MBA. That is all. So let us dive into the fascinating world of organizational behavior, OB. Now, you might be wondering what exactly this OB or organizational behavior this is all about, right? And if you have tried reading your book, chances are if you have just read it once, then you would have gone all bonkers, right? Not understanding where the head of this thing is, where the tail of this thing is. It was like that when I first read for preparing your course material, for preparing these things. When I first read it, oh my god, I did not understand a word, to be frank. I had to read it multiple times to get a hold of things and, give you a session like this. So, anyways, I'll try my best so that you don't get confused like that. So, OB is a window. It's like a window into understanding human behavior within organizations. So, it is all about exploring why people do what they do in the workplace and how organizations operate within their broader environments. And as we journey through organizational behavior, we have to explore two key dimensions of OB: micro OB and macro OB. Micro organizational behavior and macro organizational behavior. Micro organizational behavior focuses on, micro means small, right? Smallest. What is the smallest? Individuals. So, micro OB focuses on the individual behavior, their motivation, their attitudes, and their perceptions within the organizational context. So, it will be delving into topics like personality, job satisfaction, leadership, decision making, things like that. On the other hand, macro OB. Macro means large. So, macro organizational behavior will be examining organizational structures, the organization's cultures, their systems, their interactions with the external environment, and things like that. So, it will be exploring issues like the organizational change, the power dynamics within the organization, diversity within the organization, globalization, things like that. And to help us navigate this complex terrain, we will also be using certain frameworks like open system and institutional perspectives. What are these frameworks and why are they used? These frameworks shed light on how organizations interact with their environments and the broader social and cultural institutions that they are embedded in. The open system perspective views organizations as dynamic entities which interact with their external environment. So, organizations are seen as open systems that receive inputs from the environment, transform those inputs through various processes, and produce outputs. So, this perspective emphasizes the importance of adapting to environmental changes and maintaining a balance between internal and external environments for organizational effectiveness. The institutional perspective, on the other hand, focuses on the broader social and cultural institutions which influence our organizational behavior. So, it considers organizations as embedded within the societal norms, the values, and the practices. Institutions such as laws, regulations, customs, and traditions shape the organizational behavior and practices in this case. Understanding these institutional forces helps organizations navigate this complex social context and build legitimacy. It is not just about organizations, it is also about the society environment organization interface. So, organizational behavior, it is not just about organizations, it is about the society, the environment, and the organization interface. So, the society environment interface is there, then the environment organization interface. So, the society environment organization interface highlights the interconnectedness between the society, the environment, and the organizations. Society, sorry, Society provides the cultural and the social context within which organizations operate. Environment. Environment encompasses the economic, the technological, and the ecological factors. And organizations in turn influence and are influenced by both the societal as well as the environmental factors. So it is like a triangle. Society influences environment, environment influences society, society and environment both influence the organization. So this interface underscores the importance of aligning organizational goals and practices with broader societal and environmental concerns. Social processes, they serve as significant sources of human behavior, both in general and within organizational settings. These processes include socialization, group dynamics, communication patterns, and cultural influences. Social processes shape individual behavior, attitudes, and interactions within organizations, impacting organizational performance and effectiveness. So, from the micro level to the macro level, organizational behavior examines behavior and phenomena at various levels of analysis. At the individual level, organizational behavior focuses on understanding the behavior of employees and managers within the organization. At the group level, it explores team dynamics, communication patterns, and conflict resolution processes. At the organizational level, the organizational behavior OB, it investigates organizational structures, the cultures and leadership styles. Finally, at the societal level, organizational behavior considers broader societal trends, the cultural norms and the institutional influences on the organizations. In India, if you take the case, rapid economic growth and technological advancements, the demographic shifts, and socio-cultural changes have transformed the landscape of our organizations. And these changes have led to evolving work patterns, organizational structures, as well as management practices. Factors like globalization, urbanization, and digitalization have reshaped the way organizations operate as well as manage their workforce. Additionally, there has been a growing emphasis on the diversity and inclusion part also. Corporate social responsibility and sustainability in Indian organizations. Understanding these changing dynamics it becomes very much essential for organizations to adapt and thrive in the dynamic Indian business environment. Organizational behavior, therefore, is a very dynamic field of study which delves deep into the intricate workings of human behavior within organizations. So, it encompasses various approaches, including, or you can say, the various approaches where each of those approaches shed light on different aspects of our organization's dynamics. So, one such approach which focuses on individuals, delving into intra individual behavior and exploring the unique characteristics and actions of each person within the organizational context. Another approach is there which shifts the spotlight to teams or groups and examines the intricacies of the interpersonal behavior and how individuals interact within groups. And finally, there is the macro perspective, which zooms out to analyze the organization as a whole, considering its structure, the culture, and overarching goals. So, at the heart of organizational behavior lies its components as well as models, which provide frameworks for understanding as well as managing the organizational behavior. And one such model is the systems model of organizational behavior, which is widely accepted and revolves around the interaction of various components: the formal organizational system, the individual system, and the societal system or the social system. And these three systems, they interact dynamically with inputs such as objectives and resources, shaping organizational effectiveness as the output. Central to this model is the notion that organizations exist within a broader societal context with objectives and resources allocated by society to pursue socially approved goals. And within the formal organization system, we find key components like the formal structure, the communication system, and control system, each playing a vital role in shaping the organizational behavior as well as outcomes. When it comes to managing organizational behavior effectively, the contingency approach is another approach which offers valuable insights. What is this contingency approach? This approach suggests that there is no one size fits all solution to managing human behavior at work. Instead, the best approach always depends on the specific situation that is there at hand. The model for managing OB based on this particular approach, that is the contingency approach, involves four key steps. What are they? Diagnosis, prescription, implementation, and evaluation. First, diagnose, then based on your diagnosis, you prescribe. The prescription is being implemented, and the implemented framework or the implemented prescription is finally evaluated. Just like you think about going to the doctor with something. First, the doctor will do the diagnosis, then he will give you a prescription. You will go to the medical shop and get the medicines and start implementing it in your system. That is, you will start having the medications, and after a few days or whatever the course of the medicine was, you will evaluate yourself, or every day you will be evaluating yourself whether it is the medicine is working or not, right? Same way, this contingency approach is also like that. It has these four stages, and through this process organizations can identify problems, develop tailored solutions, and put them into actions and assess their effectiveness in achieving desired outcomes. In essence, organizational behavior is a multifaceted discipline which offers valuable insights into the complex interplay of human behavior within organizations. And by understanding its various components, models, and management approaches, I'm sure you must have already understood that we as managers can help our organizations navigate this ever evolving landscape of organizational dynamics with clarity as well as purpose. So, this organizational behavior concept, this is a very captivating field which has evolved significantly over time and has been shaped by various contributions of various influential thinkers as well as various other movements also. This the following few minutes, we will try to understand how this organizational behavior has evolved over this time, right? So first we had the classical movement, which emerged in the late 19th and the early 20th centuries, which laid the groundwork for OB by focusing on principles of scientific management. So the scientific management, once again we are seeing it here. It was, or you can say, this approach, the scientific management was in many ways the foundational stone for management as we see today. So Frederick Taylor, Henry Fayol, and Max Weber, these three people were the pioneers during the era of classical movement, and they emphasized efficiency, administrative functions, and bureaucratic structures within the organizations. However, as the classical movement gained traction, critiques also emerged, and that gave rise to the social man theory. So advocates like Mary Parker Foley, Chester Bernard, all these people, they emphasize the significance of social and psychological aspects in the workplace, highlighting the importance of creating a sense of community and purpose among employees. The subsequent behavioral movement, spanning the 1930s and 1940s, shifted the focus to human behavior within organizations. So, motivation, job satisfaction, and leadership became central themes which paved the way for human relations movement in 1950s. This human relations movement underscored the importance of interpersonal relationships and group dynamics in fostering a productive work environment. And building upon those ideas came the neo-human relations movement, which emerged in 1960s and 70s, placing a greater emphasis on individual needs and values. So concepts like job enrichment, participative management, and employee empowerment gained prominence during this particular period, reflecting a growing recognition of the multifaceted nature of organizational behavior. So, in essence, the evolution of organizational behavior reflects a journey from focus on efficiency and bureaucracy to a more holistic understanding of human behavior in the workplace. By incorporating insights from various movements and thinkers, modern organizational behavior also continues to explore these intricacies of organizational dynamics, striving to create environments which nurture both individual well being at the same time organizational success. Understanding this human behavior is paramount in today's organizational landscape. As a backbone of any enterprise, the success and efficiency of an organization hinges upon the intricate dynamics of human interactions that happen within it. At the heart of understanding human behavior lies the concept of personality. Personality, which is shaped by a blend of genetics, environment, and experiences, manifests in various forms and dictates individual behavior. From trait based approaches to psychoanalytic theories, each perspective offers unique insights into the multifaceted nature of personality. Personality not only influences individual behavior but also significantly impacts job performance and organizational outcomes. By comprehending the nuances of personality, managers can better tailor their strategies to maximize employee potential and achieve organizational goals. Beyond personality, we have attitudes and values which serve as guiding principles which shape an individual's perception of the world. Rooted in past experiences, attitudes represent opinions, whereas values embody deeply held standards. So, attitudes are opinions, whereas values are our deeply embedded standards. Understanding the development of attitudes and values, often influenced by socialization process, is crucial for managers who are seeking to foster a conductive work environment. Socialization, which is the process through which individuals internalize societal norms and behaviors, play a pivotal role in organizational dynamics. By grasping the intricacies of socialization, managers can effectively align the organizational culture with employee expectations and which drive collective success. In essence, we can say a profound understanding of human behavior encompassing personality, attitudes, values, and socialization is always indispensable for effective management and organizational achievement. And by leveraging insights from these diverse theories and concepts, managers can navigate the complexities of human interaction, foster a harmonious, productive workplace which is conducive to achieving the overall organizational objectives. Behaviors have always, we have a need to modify. according to our situations, our behaviors also have to be modified. So the way we work in our home or the way we conduct ourselves in a party is not how we are supposed to do so in an organization. So learning and behavioral modification becomes very important. How we can do so, how we can bring about learning and behavioral modifications within ourselves and our colleagues is very important for an MBA person, a manager or a business person to know. So the nature of the learning process, how it is, how we can bring about behavioral modifications, let us look at that. The nature of the learning process is a multifaceted stuff. It encompasses various theories, mechanisms through which individuals can acquire knowledge and skills. The way I learn may be different from the way you learn, and generally we can categorize the way people learn into different types. If you might have heard, right, box thinking and things like that, like the woman's brains are like a interconnected set of strings, whereas the men's is, it's just like various boxes arranged. So this, there is a physiology, like there is a psychological aspect also into it. So we need to be aware of all these things if we are to properly navigate through and get people to work the way we want them to. So we can start from the classical conditioning. So there is a classical conditioning approach and what this classical conditioning theory means is that behaviors are learned by connecting a neutral stimulus with a positive sign. You might have heard of the Pavlov's experiment, right? Pavlov's dog. Like every time the dog he rings a bell, Pavlov used to ring a bell, and the dog used to be fed. So after a while, even if the dog is not being offered food, when it hears the bell, it knows that food will be on its way, so it will start expecting food. So hearing a bell is a neutral thing, a neutral stimulus, and with that we come to associate food, right? The dog started associating food, so that is a positive response. So we also have a lot of such classically conditioned learnings, right? Like when we hear a car honk while we are walking on the road, we immediately know and we have to step back. So that is something that we have learned. So there are a lot of things, if you like look closely into your life, you will get to know that we ourselves have that classical conditioning inbuilt within us. So there is the classical conditioning theory, then there is operant conditioning, social learning to cognitive learning. And so these are all various theories, learning theories and mechanisms through which individuals acquire knowledge and skills. And each of these learning theories, whether it be classical conditioning to cognitive learning, each of these learning theories offer valuable insights into how learning occurs. So let us look in brief on these learning theories a little bit, at least, so that you get an ice breaking, right? So classical conditioning involves associating a neutral stimulus to a stimulus that naturally elicits a response, okay, leading to a learned response to a neutral stimulus over time, right? Or when if you are a Christian, if you hear the bells in the church, you naturally tune yourselves to that. If you are on the road and you hear someone honk, you naturally look back or you look around you and see if there is a vehicle, right? So things like that. And what is operant conditioning? Operant conditioning, on the other hand, it focuses learning through consequences of behavior, whether through reinforcement or punishment. Have you done your homework? No. If the teacher beats, then the next day when the teacher asks the question, you remember, right? Or that day when you come home, you remember, if I am not going to do my homework, tomorrow there is a good chance of trashing. So let me do it. So that is operant conditioning. Okay. Then social learning. Social learning theory is something which underscores the importance of observation and imitation in the learning process. Like if everybody is eating with a spoon, then you also have a tendency to eat with a spoon. If everybody is wearing a certain kind of dress, like why do you think we wear fancy clothes and go to a wedding, right? Because everybody will be wearing such things, so I should also go respectably, otherwise it will be bad for me. Why do we feel like that? It is social conditioning. Whereas to a hospital, you will not wear a lehenga or sherwani and go, right? You will wear something else and go. So why is that? That is a part of social learning, wherein we observe and imitate the people around us, highlighting the role of social interaction. So if you have a kid at home, like these theories actually made a lot of sense to me when I was observing my kid, how he tries to imitate me, or how he responds to certain situations. All those things, when you observe a new budding life, all these things become very apparent. So these are things which we have been brought up with. This is how we accumulated our knowledge all through these years. It's just that in MBA we are giving it different names and calling it different theories. These are not new concepts to us. If you look closely at it, these are all things that we ourselves have experienced and we ourselves have gone through right? So that is social learning. Then we have cognitive learning theory. What is cognitive learning theory? It is a theory which says, or which looks at the mental process that is involved in learning, like attention, memory, problem solving. You remember the puzzles or the Rubik's cube, how you learned it, or how to arrange things on the basis of their sizes, or how you memorized your textbook to appear for your board exams, even now for your term and examinations, right? So that is cognitive learning theory. So these are the learning theories that we have to know about, at least know a brief idea about in this particular unit. So central to this learning process, whichever theory it is, if you understand, if you look closely at it, you will know that central to this learning process is reinforcement, repeated doing, which is what motivates individuals to acquire new skills and behaviors. Positive reinforcements would be like providing rewards for the desired behaviors, whereas negative reinforcement is removing the unpleasant stimuli to reinforce desired behaviors like punishments and things like that. Reinforcement plays a crucial role in fostering a conducive learning environment within the organizations, driving improved job performance as well as organizational success. Learning, as you all know, is paramount in organizational context also, because learning is what empowers our employees to enhance their capabilities and contribute effectively to achieving the organizational objectives. So when you get a job, don't you ever dare to think that you're going to leave your learning school days behind. In job, you're going to learn more as well as work, right? So by promoting continuous learning through training initiatives and mentoring programs and professional development opportunities, we as managers can foster a culture of growth and innovation in our organizations. Now let us come to behavioral modification. So one part of this particular unit was about learning. The second part is about behavioral modifications. Now, this is a rapid roundup session. That is why I'm just skimming through the concepts just to give you an overall idea of what awaits you in this particular course and in each of the units, right? So behavioral modification, which is grounded in principles of reinforcement and punishment, offers again a systematic approach to shaping behaviors within organizations. Not just organizations, right? Within our families, within our social circle, everywhere, within life in general. So, by employing strategies like positive reinforcement or negative reinforcements or punishments and extinctions, organizations can address performance issues and cultivate a positive work environment which is conducive to productivity as well as success. If you look closely right now, especially again now, almost every time things pop up, like how companies are reinforcing newer measures to bring employees back to offices, right? So these are all the kind of measures they take. Some maybe incentives to work from office, like outings and trips and events, organizing events. Some companies have even go to the lengths of cutting your pay or your leaves and things like that are there. So these are all various types of reinforcement each organization is trying to implement in order to get the desired behavior from their employees. Just like how our moms and dads and our elders used to train us when we were kids to meet our family standards, right? Like that now organizations. Now, in essence, understanding the intricacies of this learning process and leveraging the behavioral modification techniques is very much indispensable for any organization that is striving to optimize employee performance, enhance the job satisfaction of their employees, and achieve a sustainable growth and success. And through strategic focus on fostering learning and shaping the behavior of their employees, of the staff, organizations can cultivate a dynamic workforce which is poised for excellence. Okay, so that is about learning and behavioral modifications. Now, another very important topic, that is perception and attribution. What is perception? What is attribution? Perception, maybe you have heard the word. Attribution? Totally new word, is it? Don't worry, we'll get to it. Okay, so perception. Let us start with perception. What is perception? Perception, you can think of it as a lens through which we, that individuals, make sense of our surroundings. And it is what our perception is what shapes our understanding of the world that is around us. The world we live in, how we perceive is the word itself. Like how we perceive the world depends upon our perception. It involves organizing and interpreting the sensory impressions so as to derive a meaning from our environment. Yet, it is very crucial to recognize that perception is a very subjective thing and it can vary greatly among individuals. We say siblings who are born and brought up in the same house, brought up with by the same parents in the similar conditions, even twins you take for example, do not end up the same, right? The reason is because the perception of each individual is different. Numerous factors influence our perceptions. So what are they? It could be situational elements like the time, the location, the environmental conditions, or even or up to the perceiver's own attitudes, the motives of that person, the past experiences they have gone through, and the expectations they have out of any particular thing. Additionally, characteristics of the target that is being perceived, like the background of that particular target, or the proximity, the novelty, the movement, or even the shape of the target will shape our perception. The perceiver's attitudes, the motives, the interest, and past experiences significantly impact how sensory information is processed and interpreted. Like, for example, you take a spider, some of us are going to freak out and run from the room like some demon is there, right? Including me. But some of them are okay to let them be. So that is an attitude, or it might be shaped from some of our past experiences, right? So that impacts how sensory information is processed by us and therefore impacts our perception. So this highlights the intricate interplay between the internal factors, right, what happens within us, and the external stimuli. We may see some person, and maybe that person might be having similar features to somebody who is very dear to us, right? It happens sometimes, right? So if you're seeing a person who has facial features closely resembling to someone who is very dear to us, then naturally within us a sense of love, or a sense of happiness, or a sense of attachment or closeness, like a long lost friend, something like that comes. Whereas if it resembles to a person who has tortured us immensely, then naturally we feel aversion to that person. Is it because of that person? No, it is because of that person is just the external stimuli. But the internal factors plus this external stimuli shaped our perception. Furthermore, individuals also engage in impression management, employing conscious or unconscious strategies to influence how others perceive them, right? That also happens. How others have to think about us, like that we do a lot of things in our lives, right? We don't want the society to think bad of us, so we are doing many things, right? So that is also that is a way of us engaging in impression management. We want to manage what impression we leave on others. So these facets of this impression management encompasses various techniques, include self-presentation, how we dress, how we walk, how we talk, ingratiation, intimidation or imitation, supplication, all these things aimed at controlling or shaping the perceptions of others. In essence, perception is a multifaceted process that is deeply entwined with individual experiences, beliefs, and contextual factors. And understanding the complexities of perception and the nuances of this impression management can empower individuals to navigate the interpersonal interactions effectively and cultivate positive perceptions within their social as well as professional environments. So that was about perception and attribution. So now you might be thinking, oh Anu, but you did not tell us about attribution, right? No, I've already told you. What is attribution is nothing but if you look at the dictionary meaning of what attribution is, it is nothing but the action of regarding something as being caused by a person or thing, right? So what do you mean, right? It is the attribution is the act of saying or thinking that something is the result or work of a particular person or thing, right? That something has happened in our life because of something else. The reason why I could not reach the office on time, or maybe the reason why I did not get good marks in the exam, is because a black cat crossed my way today morning when I was coming out. That is a common example of attribution. Okay, so it is a psychological term or a term in psychology which deals with how individuals perceive the causes of everyday experiences as being either external or maybe even internal. Okay, so the models to explain this process is called attribution theory. So it is something within the person which we observe. Okay, attribution could be something within the person which we observe, like their personality, which is internal attribution. Okay, or it might be caused by something outside the person who we are observing, that is their situation, that is external attribution. Okay, so attribution theory is nothing but a theory which believes that people attempt to understand the events and actions by attributing the intentions, the beliefs and feelings to events. And it also holds that we tend to place causation into two categories. It is either internal, that is dispositional factors, or external factors, that is situational factors. Okay, so that is attribution. So we have already discussed about attribution also along with the perception. It's just that I did not say in particular. Okay, so don't worry, if you have got a basic idea, now when you go and read your textbook, it will be much more clear to you. A very important thing, motivation, right? Without motivation, we cannot even get up in the morning. Can we get up in the morning without being motivated? If there is nothing to look forward to, if there is nothing to motivate us, right? And a total lack of motivation is what you can call a kind of depression, right? There is nothing to look forward to. That is when people go into depression. So motivation is a very important topic which we have to learn. Motivation is what makes people do or makes people want to do things. And in workplaces, this is what gets employees excited about their work and helps them to achieve their goals. If workers are motivated, then definitely they are more likely to do a good job and help the company succeed. There are different kinds of motivation. Some people are motivated by things inside of them, like maybe feeling proud of their work, whereas others are motivated by things outside of them, like getting a bonus or a promotion or a particular status in the society. People also like to do well and prove themselves, which is called achievement motivation. And then there is self-belief, where people think they can do a good job. So these are all various types of motivations, or what the various ways in which people get motivated. Now, how to keep the employees motivated? That is a very big question, right? There are a lot of people, each person might be motivated by in different ways. So how do we keep our employees motivated? Companies can use different strategies to do so. They can say set clear goals for the employees to work towards, give them the feedback to help them improve, recognize their hard work with rewards or with praise. Companies can also make jobs more interesting and challenging to keep the employees engaged. And finally, it can also involve employees in the decision making process. This can also feel them more invested in their company's success, more involved, like the company actually considers me, it sees me. Like that, we will get the feeling. That will also cause motivation. So, in short, you can say motivation is what drives the people in our organizations or people in general to do their best at work. And by understanding what motivates our employees and using strategies to keep them engaged is the only way our organizations can create a positive and productive work environment. Have you ever heard of a one-man organization? No, right? Organizations are a group of people who have come together, who have gathered in order to work for a common goal. Naturally, there is bound to be groups, there are bound to be teams, and it is essential we know the group dynamics and how we can build effective teams, because it is not a one-man show. It cannot be a one-man show. It is so much more than one man can shoulder. Groups are simply when two or more people come together with a common goal and is interacting and relying on each other. These groups can be, say, formal groups like the teams at work, or it could be informal like our friends and us hanging out. As groups form and grow, they go through various stages. What stage? First, they are just forming. So the members are just getting to know each other. They try to figure out their roles. Then it comes storming. That is when conflicts might pop up. Everyone have already figured out their place. Right? Now, conflicts. I don't like my place, or I want to achieve something more than this. Right? So conflicts. Storming phase is where conflicts might pop up. And the next is norming. That is where the group sets roles and values. And after that, they start performing. They start working together to reach their goals. And finally, when the mission of that particular team or that particular group is achieved, that when their mission is complete, when their goals are met, they adjourn. Adjourn means they disperse. The group is dissolved. So the productivity of a group, it depends on a few things. What are they? The size of the group. The size of the group matters, as does the mix of the people in it. The norms and the values which the group sets, that also affects the productivity. How close its members are to each other, not physically but emotionally, mentally, how connected they feel with each other, and the leadership of that group. All these things play a part in the effectiveness or the productivity of a group. Teams are just more advanced groups with a lot of interdependence, and there are different types also. There are different types also of teams, like there is problem solving teams or self-managed teams. Okay, so to make sure that a team actually works well, it is very important to set clear goals. Agree on rules of that team, talk openly, give feedback, and appreciate everyone's efforts. Sometimes though things can go within a team, there could be fights, there could be misunderstandings, or maybe even a lack of trust or direction. Like we might lose sight of our goals. So dealing with all these issues might mean having a more open chat with our team members, setting clearer goals, or giving extra training. Understanding these aspects of groups and teams can help make working together a lot smoother and more successful. So, as I said, organizations are groups of people come together. When even two people come together, you know what happens? Conflict. Have you ever heard of two people gelling extremely well without any conflict at all? Even mother and child has a lot of conflicts, right? Husband and wife, though, don't even say, you don't even have to say about it, it's a given. So, even in organizations, definitely you cannot expect that everybody will be always happy, smiling, no conflicts. If it is like that, then there is Cold War, bigger conflict, right? So, as managers, we need to be mindful about, or be understanding that there are going to be conflicts, and we need to know how we can negotiate and move ahead of that conflict. And when you move ahead from a conflict, it should be with a stronger team, not a weaker one. So what is conflict? Conflict is like when two friends argue about what game to play, you can think, right? It is when people or groups don't agree with each other because they have different ideas or maybe different needs as well. Conflict can be good. How? You might be thinking, how is conflict good? No, conflict means war, waging war. It is always very destructive. It drains us, right? We lose our relationships to conflict. But no, if you look at it in the right way, if you deal with it in the right way, conflicts can be good. How? How so? Because it can help us to solve problems and it teaches us about differences. But usually it is seen as a problem. Why? Because it makes people unhappy and it can cause more problems. Now there are different types of conflict. Conflicts can happen between people, like maybe like when siblings fight over a toy, or it can happen inside someone's mind when they are unsure about something. Whether I wear this, should I wear this, should I wear that, should I keep sticking on to this Anu's classroom video and listen to this person blabbering, or should I just change the channel and go somewhere else, or should I just try to learn on my own? What should I do? Oh my god, right? Many things. That is also a type of conflict which is happening inside our mind. Groups can have conflicts when teams can't agree on a particular plan. So conflicts can start for many reasons. Sometimes it is because people are different, like when one person likes to read and the other likes to play sports, or sometimes it is because of things that are outside of our control, like not having enough time or maybe not having enough money. So when there is conflict, it can affect people in different ways. Sometimes it makes them more creative, it helps them solve problems better. Like for example, my mom, she stitches us clothes, okay, and she often tells us that her creativity comes out when she's presented with scraps of cloth rather than a full big piece of cloth. So it is a deficiency which could internally be creating conflicts, but it helps her be more creative. It helps her solve problems better. But often it makes people less productive. That is a general trend, that conflict makes people less productive. It makes them unhappy. It makes them stressed. So the conflict process has different stages. First, there is a chance for conflict to happen. Then someone notices this conflict and they feel upset, right? First, there is a conflict going on inside somebody's head, like, okay, I'm not really liking the way this person talks. That is brewing inside their mind. The conflict has started, right? There is a chance for the conflict to happen. Now another person notices that this person is having some thoughts in their head, and maybe the way the person is looking or the way the person is being with themselves, like the facial expressions, from there the person is trying to figure out what is happening, and they might feel that. Now we will also start feeling like when you notice that there is a conflict, when there is a like some kind of a disturbance is there, we start getting upset, right? Ourselves, we start getting upset. So what happens after that? We start to show it slowly it surfaces, it causes problems, and finally when the problems are there, when it is out in our face, there are consequences and people will have to deal with them. So, how do we deal with this conflict? There are bound to be conflicts, especially because we are working in groups, we are working with different people. Even within ourselves we have conflicts. So conflict is there.
Conflict is a given. You cannot run away from conflict. Even if you run to Pluto or Mars or Jupiter or to the end of the known universe, conflict is there. Why? Because the internal conflict, where will you live, right? So conflict is going to be there. It is a given. How do we manage this? That is all that is with us. So how do we manage conflict? There are different ways to manage conflict. I'm sorry if you are hearing a background noise. Like there is nothing I can do about it. It is raining cats and dogs right now while I'm making this video. And since your exams are very near and we've lost a couple of days, I can't take a risk of shooting it at a later point of time, right? Because I myself are having a little bit of time constraints, unfortunately. So let us go ahead. Please increase your volume or try to keep a headset so that you can catch the points in case you are feeling interested in continuing with the video. I hope you do. Okay, so there are different ways to manage conflict. That is what we were saying. So some people think that it is always a bad idea, that conflicts are bad and we always try to avoid it, but you must understand this. Avoiding conflicts are not going to make it go away, but rather grow. Okay, and others think that conflicts are normal and it can be solved by talking and finding a way to compromise. Some people even see conflict as a chance to grow and change. To stop conflicts, it is very important that you talk openly. The moment you notice that there is some sort of a conflict happening, you have to talk openly, set clear rules, and help people understand each other. And when conflicts actually do happen, then negotiations can help find solutions that everyone can agree on. So negotiation, the goal of negotiation should be a win-win, win on both sides. Win, lose or lose, win or lose, lose is not going to help resolve conflict. It is only win-win, and a win-win can be reached only via negotiation. What is negotiation? Negotiation is when people talk to each other to find a solution which makes everyone happy. There are different ways to negotiate, like talking about what is important to each person and finding a way to make everyone happy. Things like personality, fairness, how much time there is, all these things can change how negotiations could end. Anybody having a job who does not have job stress, please leave a thumbs up or leave a hi in the comment section. I really like to know, because I myself struggle with job stress, and everybody I've spoken to has job stress, right? So we are also bound to have, our colleagues are also bound to have, and as managers we know that stress is not a good thing. It could lead to loss of productivity. It could decrease the effectiveness of the people who are working for us as well as ourselves. So when there is stress, what do? Do we manage stress? Will managing help? No, managing stress I don't think has helped. Like, it has never helped. I've tried managing stress for all these years, it never helped. The only way we can deal with job stress is to eliminate it. Stress is like the body's reaction when facing a challenge or a demand. In organizations, stress can come from different places. It could be work pressure, unclear roles, conflicts with others. Sometimes stress can push people to do better, whereas other times it can make them feel unhappy and less productive. So are you saying you don't need stress at all? No, that is not what I'm saying. If there is no stress at all, then there is no motivation. If there is no challenge, that will also not be that great. There should be stress, there should be a push. Stress should be like that gentle push that is keeping you moving forward, but it should not be that hit which is like making you just fly off into a wrong direction, right? So there are 3 types of stress. Stuff that is in your head, like worrying, which is causing you stress, or stuff from your job, like there is too much work, you are having to work for 2-3 people, like you are just one person, you have to do your work, then you have to also do your colleague's work because that person is lethargic and things are not moving ahead. Oh my god, many of us have gone through the situation, right? So stuff from your job, or it could be stuff from the world around you, like there is depression going on. Oh my god, people are losing their jobs, I don't know what I'm going to do, right? Money problems. So to handle stress, people can try different things. Some personal ways are like balancing our work and personal life, managing our time well, learning how to deal with our problems. And for organizations, they can always check how stressed their workers are, how stressed our employees are, our subordinates are. Listen to doctors, tell everyone why stress is bad and see what we can do about it, right? So that is about stress. So along with stress, there is some other terms we need to know about, which is very important. What is it? One is burnout. Burnout happens when someone feels super tired and stressed because they have been under pressure for a very, very long time. That is burnout. Exhausted. I am totally exhausted. I don't have energy to proceed any further. That is burnout. Then there is one more term, rust out. What is rust out? Rust out is when someone feels bored and is not interested in their work because it is not challenging enough. Like every day, day after day, hour after hour, I'm just filling in Excel sheets with A, B, C. I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm so bored. I don't want to continue. We have all gone through that at one point or the other, right? So that is rust out. It is boredom. The other is breaking my back. The rust out. The second one is boredom. Okay, so these are two terms which you need to be aware of when we are talking about job stress. And to deal with stress, people can definitely try different ways. Some ways could be focusing on fixing the problems that are causing the stress, like talking to someone or finding a solutions, whereas others focus on managing the feelings that come with stress, like doing something fun or relaxing, to take our mind off it. Right? So that is job stress. So, you know how sometimes at work we feel like we are just following orders, like somebody is saying something and we are just doing it. And we are not really using our full potential. Happens, right? It happens frequently with me, so like especially when I'm stressed out or like going to reach my burnout point. Definitely I feel like that, or even you during rust outs, I feel like that. We all feel like that. Like, what is this? We're just taking orders and we are not able to spread our wings and fly. Like that feelings come, right? So that is where employee empowerment comes in. It is all about giving our employees more control and more responsibility over their work. Think about it like this. Imagine you are on a project and instead of your boss telling you exactly what to do at every step of the way, that is micromanaging, they give you the freedom to make decisions and take ownership of the process. You will be very happy, right? But it is not just about feeling good, it actually makes a big difference in how well we perform. Have you noticed? So that is employee empowerment. So the theory behind this empowerment is that when employees have more say in their work, then they feel more motivated and more engaged, and this will lead to a better job satisfaction and performance. And when we have more say in what we do, we are more motivated and engaged, and we are more likely to come up with creative solutions to problems and even suggest new ideas which can help the company grow. And what is the best part? It is not just good for us as employees, it is also good for the company too. Empowered employees are more productive and more innovative and more likely to stick around because they feel valued and appreciated. To implement empowerment, managers need to trust their employees and provide clear guidelines and resources and encourage open communication. Like, for example, they can hold regular meetings to discuss the ideas of their employees or concerns that they might be having, or offer training to help employees develop new skills. You can recognize empowered employees by their enthusiasm, their initiative, and willingness to take on new challenges. They may also be more confident and more proactive in their work. So, in short, employee empowerment is all about giving employees the freedom and the support they need to take ownership of their work. And when we are doing it right, it can lead to happier employees, better performance, and a more successful organization in whole. So, the next time you are feeling a bit stuck at work or you find that your subordinates are stuck, maybe you can think about how you could take more ownership of what you're doing. And who knows, it might just lead to some awesome results, right? I hope you all do. I hope you all find empowerment in your organizations, in the work you do. Organizational citizenship behavior, OCB in short, is a very fascinating concept in our organizational psychology, which actually warrants exploration within our professional context. OCB, organizational citizenship behavior, it encompasses voluntary actions that are taken by employees that go beyond their prescribed roles and responsibilities. So these actions, which though not mandated by the organization or superiors, contribute significantly to the overall functioning and success of the organization. Broadly, it is categorized into two dimensions: OCBO, that is organizational citizenship behavior, organization, okay, and OCBI, organizational citizenship behavior on individuals. Okay, so it has two dimensions: the organizational dimension and the individual dimension. These are the two dimensions of organizational citizenship behavior. And these behaviors manifest in various forms. Organizational dimension, OCBO, pertains to actions that are directly benefiting the organization, like participating in organizational initiatives or advocating for organization's interests. On the other hand, OCBI, the individual aspect, the individual dimension, colleague support, it involves behaviors that are directed towards our colleagues, like assisting them in tasks, fostering a positive work environment, and stuff like that. Understanding the antecedents and the consequences of organizational citizenship behavior is crucial for organizations seeking to leverage this phenomena. Research indicates that OCB leads to enhanced organizational performance, increased job satisfaction, reduced turnover intentions, and additionally, it also fosters a positive work culture, bolstering employee morale and motivation. Moreover, OCB contributes to the development of social capital within the organization, facilitating collaboration and coordination among employees. Assessing OCB typically involves utilizing the established measurement tools like surveys, which are based on the 5-factor model. These surveys gauge various dimensions of OCB, including altruism, conscientiousness, sportsmanship, and etc. Regular administration of such surveys enables organizations to monitor the OCB levels of their organization and evaluate the effectiveness of interventions like training programs. So, in summary, OCB, organizational citizenship behavior, represents a valuable asset for organizations, fostering a culture of collaboration, goodwill, and organizational commitment among employees. Recognizing and nurturing OCB can yield significant benefits in terms of organizational performance and employee well being. We are all in an era where companies are MNCs, right? They don't operate in one place. They operate in multiple places and they have talents working for them from multiple places, right? Have you, like, even if it is a small startup in your locality, it might not just have people from around within 20 kilometers, right? People could be coming in from different districts even. So there is bound to be diversity in our organizations, and if when there is diversity, we need to make sure that everyone feels included in our organization. It becomes very important because diverse people are there from diverse cultural backgrounds and diverse norms and things like that. So everybody should feel included, everybody should feel comfortable working with us. So that is the importance of identify organizational inclusiveness and how we can bring about organizational inclusiveness. So diversity and inclusion in the workplace are crucial for fostering a positive and productive work environment. Diversity encompasses the range of differences among employees, like the age, the gender, race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, and physical ability. Inclusion, on the other hand, involves creating a culture where all employees feel valued, respected, and supported, regardless of their differences. The benefits of inclusion are manifold. It leads to higher levels of employee engagement, job satisfaction, and productivity. Additionally, it helps in reducing turnover rates as well as absenteeism. An inclusive workplace also fosters diversity of thought, which fuels innovation and better decision making. Furthermore, it enables organizations to better understand and meet the needs of the diverse customer base. Gender diversity is a significant aspect of workplace diversity. It involves recognizing and embracing the differences between men and women in the workforce. Gender diverse teams tend to perform better as they bring varied perspectives and insights to problem solving and decision making processes. To cultivate an inclusive workplace, organizations should implement several strategies. Firstly, they should establish a culture of respect and inclusivity through diversity and inclusion training, clear behavioral expectations, and accountability measures. Secondly, organizations should ensure that their policies and practices promote inclusivity, including flexible work arrangements and equal opportunities for all employees. Lastly, organizations should actively recruit and retain a diverse workforce by employing inclusive recruitment practices and offering mentorship and development programs for underrepresented groups. In summary, diversity and inclusion are vital for creating a thriving and successful workplace. Gender diversity is just one facet of diversity that organizations have to embrace to foster innovation, creativity, and collaboration among employees. By prioritizing inclusivity and implementing effective strategies, organizations can unlock the full potential of their workforce and drive sustainable growth and success. So, we spoke about diversity and inclusion. Now we have to speak about how we can manage this diversity and bring about inclusion. Diversity management is all about creating a workplace where everyone feels valued and respected, regardless of their differences. So, this means recognizing and appreciating each person's unique qualities like their age, the gender, race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, and physical ability. By embracing these differences, organizations can build a stronger, more productive, and innovative team. The need for diversity in organizations is clear. First off, it helps companies better understand and serve their diverse customer base. When employees from different backgrounds bring their perspective to the table, it will lead to more creative solutions and better products or services. Plus, when employees feel respected and included, they are more likely to stick around, reducing turnover and absenteeism. When it comes to diversity, there are different levels to consider. There is surface level diversity, which includes things like the age, the gender, race, and all, which you can see right away. Then there is a deep level diversity, which includes less visible traits like values, the beliefs, the personality. And both these, what you can say, levels of diversity, both of them are important to consider when building an inclusive workplace. So, how do organizations put diversity management into action? Right? That is the question. How do we do that? First, we need to foster a culture of respect and inclusivity within our organization. This means providing training for all employees, setting clear expectations for behavior, and holding everyone accountable. Second, policies and practices have to be inclusive. It has to offer things like flexible work arrangements and equal opportunities for all. Finally, organizations should actively seek out and support a diverse workforce through inclusive hiring practices and mentorship programs. So, in a nutshell, diversity management is the key to creating a workplace where everyone feels valued, respected, and included. And by embracing diversity at all levels and putting inclusive practices into action, our organizations can build stronger teams and achieve greater success. Work behavior is how employees act and feel while they are on the job. And concepts like optimism, happiness, and well being, all these things play a big role in shaping this work behavior. Optimism is about expecting good things to happen, while happiness and well being are all about feeling positive and satisfied with life. So, in the workplace, these ideas are super important. Being optimistic can make people more motivated, productive, and happy with their jobs. Feeling happy and content can also lower the stress and keep folks healthier and even make them more creative and innovative. Companies can use these concepts in a lot of ways, like by running programs which keep employees engaged, promoting wellness, using positive psychological tricks to boost the morale. Spiritual intelligence is also another key idea which we have to be aware of. It is all about how people use their spiritual beliefs to guide their lives. Having a strong spiritual side can make employees more satisfied and more motivated at work, and it can even help them make better ethical choices. Plus, it gives them more meaning and purpose. When there is emotional intelligence, which is all about understanding and managing our emotions, both our own emotions and others' emotions. So, emotional intelligence is also important. Being emotionally intelligent can lead to better communication, smoother conflict resolution, and more effective leadership. It also makes for a nicer work atmosphere and helps keep employees feeling good. So, when you put it all together, these concepts are like a recipe for a great workplace. By focusing on optimism, happiness, well being, spiritual intelligence, and emotional intelligence, companies can create a positive environment where employees thrive and their productivity soars to never before heights. So, with that, we have covered all the major aspects of social processes and behavioral issues as was stipulated in your MMPC 11 course of IGNO MBA, the new syllabus. I hope the time that you have spent on Anu's classroom was worthwhile for you. You feel that you've got some value out of it. If so, then I hope I'll be seeing you in the upcoming sessions as well. I'll see you around in the classroom.
Thank you so much for tuning into Anu's classroom, and I hope that we will be there in the classroom, right? Thank you so much. All the very best for your examinations. Happy learning.